Nice tractor, sir.
You like that? It's a John Deere. It's loud. Thank you. Thanks a lot, buddy. You got a straw? Y'all have a good one. Bye now. You too. Hey folks, Longhorn Lester here, and am I excited about making this video? We have Mr. Jeff, the owner, and Cody, his assistant from Track Tech. I'm going to show you all the information here in a couple of minutes. But listen, these guys have come out and they've donated their time and some product to help us seal off our pond. Lord, it's been, what, 3 years in the making of this darn pond, and this thing has a leak that we cannot patch or repair. I have tried, we've done everything that Google tells us to do, and we can't figure it out. But Mr. Jeff and Cody, the same guys who we bought our fountain from, have come out with their equipment, and they are going to seal our pond once and for all. You guys come with me. Let's watch what they're going to do. Let's meet these fellas, and this is going to be a whole lot of fun. All right, so you guys probably know that things like this are not cheap. And to have Mr. Jeff and Cody donate their time and their materials, using all of their equipment, is just a huge blessing. So before you leave the video, if you wouldn't mind, please go to their Google site and give them a review. And then that will certainly help this small business grow and get recognition. Before we start talking to Mr. Jeff, I want to show you all right quick our problem. Now listen, our pond is low. Our pond stays low because it has a leak. The fellows who dug the pond for us is a great company, but I don't think they were able to patch or plug using enough clay on this end, and we've had a leak from the very beginning. And what happens is we get a nice big rain, the pond fills to capacity, but day by day by day, all of our water is slowly seeping through the spillway over here, and it comes right back out this back end, goes through our culvert, makes its way to our second pond, and then right on down to the Trinity River. And guys, we do have a way that we can pump more water into the pond, but that's a continual process. Problem is, we need to seal this leak. So speaking of Mr. Jeff, he's actually right here right now. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being here. And so what I was just now saying is that our leak comes somewhere through this area on the old spillway here. Okay. I don't guess they put enough clay or packed it in right. And so the leak goes through and comes out right over here where all the little foliage is there into the little ditch area, and it drains right on down towards the other pond, which runs down to the Trinity River. And now there's good and there's bad news. The pond is so low right now that it's not leaking, which tells me the leak, wherever it's leaking from, has to be somewhere from this grass line, the little grass line you see here, down to where the water's at now.
Well, on the plus side, that's good information to work with.
Okay.
It allows us to then focus on concentrating
your chemical or your
material distribution at the top half.
Okay.
Phase.
Yes, absolutely.
Then we could put a heavier layer, a heavier build.
Yes, sir.
Across this area versus down where it's not needed.
Okay. So what actually are you using? What is the material?
We use granulated sodium bentonite. It's a clay.
Yes, sir.
Once it's fully saturated, granulated bentonite will expand about 15 times its normal volume.
Oh, wow.
So what we do is we use a modified broadcast spreader.
Yes, sir.
To ensure that we get a very uniform distribution.
Okay.
If you don't get a uniform distribution, your sealing properties are going to be less effective.
So that kind of makes me laugh at myself, because what I did was bought a bucket of this stuff at one point, and I come out with my little seed spreader, and I kind of did this trick, this over here, and it was not at all equally distributed, and the leak remains.
Well, the powdered material is better suited for if you got dirt. And
yes, sir.
You're going to mill it in, like till it into the soil.
Okay.
The granulated, because it's granulated, it hits the water and it falls.
Okay.
If it's a powder, it'll float, and as you can see, we got a breeze today.
And it's going to all blow to the other end of the pond.
Over to that end of the pond.
It would, where we don't need it. Okay.
Whereas the granulated is very small particle size, like less than 1/8.
Okay.
It'll hit the water and it'll sink.
Okay, that's interesting.
So
Okay.
that's advantage of, that's what we use on any ponds that have leaks that are filled.
Okay, sir.
When we can't drain them.
Okay. So how will you focus your granules there on the area where we think that we need it? And like I said, I can't pinpoint any specific spot, but it is somewhere from the grass line here where the water should be, down about 2 foot to where the water's at right now. Or is it possible to do that, or we just kind of do a coat all the way across?
Well, we'll do a coat all the way across, but we've modified our broadcast spreader with a potentiometer, which basically allows us to adjust the broadcast speed.
Okay.
So,
broadcast meaning how
fast
far?
it spins,
Oh,
which
okay.
means- which basically controls how far it's going to throw the material out.
Okay.
So if we run it at a lower speed, it's going to give us
So
a higher concentration
I got
at
you.
on a tighter area.
So similar to whenever I spread seed across the pasture, if I drive faster, it throws that seed further.
Exactly.
If I drive slower, it drops it in a concentrated area.
And what
There you
the
go.
target is about 5 pound per square foot application.
Okay.
Which is way overkill.
Yes,
by
sir.
most standards. But we've had the most success in
would-
sealing dams. It's a once and done. You know, a lot of times you got to come back 2 or 3 times.
Yes, sir.
We found that if you just over apply it the first
Do it
time,
right the
saves-
first time
saves
and
the
save
customer
multiple
expense
trips
of
out.
Coming back multiple times.
Absolutely. Well, we love that idea.
From there.
Gotcha. Well, we're going to kind of stand back and let you guys do what you do, and I'll just make some video if you don't mind.
Yep.
And then our folks are going to certainly appreciate your time and the money that you put into this and the machinery and whatnot, and we certainly thank you so very much. I can't wait until it fills up. Now, will we see the leak stop immediately, or is it possible it may continue for a while longer?
Normally, it'll diminish over a couple week period.
Okay.
Normally, we're doing them when the ponds are fuller.
Oh, I got you.
So it's going to have, it'd be somewhat related to the saturation rate.
Okay. Well, let me ask you
If we
then.
get some rain in the next couple of days,
Uh-huh.
that might be a bonus. You know, if
I was going to ask you, so if those granules do fall here in the area where we think the leak is at, yet will they not activate until they get wet?
basically.
So should I come out with the hose and wet them
If you
down?
had a sprinkler, it'd be a bonus.
I can run a sprinkler. We have sprinkled the
on the plus
sod.
side, you got a lot of rock
Yes,
on
sir.
the face, so it'll help hold those granules,
granules in
those
place.
cavities, instead of
Okay.
just washing down the face. You know, I mean, some's going to wash down too.
And so I know this is not to scale, but that granule will land, and then when it gets wet, it will expand 15 times its size. It can.
Yep.
And then that will be what will seal the leak.
Right. And what will happen is, typically when there's a leak, you're going to have a small current. You
Yes,
can't
sir.
see it, but it's going to want to draw that material.
Well, yeah.
The current will draw it into the cavity, and so that might permeate 4 feet into the dam face.
Okay.
That's more of a case if it's big tree roots or something.
And it's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for doing this. And I promise you're going to run across some really wonderful folks who are going to really let your small business know how much we appreciate you. So thank you so much. Let me shake your hand again while I have you on
Appreciate the
video.
opportunity to work with
Thank
you.
you so very much. I'm going to continue talking for a little bit, Mr. Jeff, but you guys do what you're going to do, and I'll just video from a distance. So like I was saying, I don't want to get in his way, but I'm going to walk over here, and you guys can see a little bit better of how low the pond is now. Now, you know that we've not had any significant rain in a while. So listen, this is our current spillway, and it's working out great. Mr. Jeremy there at Richardson did a fantastic job. I almost said fabulous and fantastic. A fabtaculous job at doing this spillway. It works amazing. We've not had any erosion issues with this new setup. But look how low the water is. This pond is several feet low. You can see that as you go around the pond, and you can see where the grass line's at and how low the water is to the grass line. So that's how low the pond is. Over here on the spillway, the same thing. Look at where some of the weedy stuff begins. That's how high the water should be. Now, what we've noticed with our dropping pond is that our leak has stopped. And if the leak has stopped, then that tells us the water line right now is below that leaking point. I forgot what Mr. Jeff called it. He called it something, but it's the area, the channel, or where the water's leaking from and leaking through. So I don't know exactly where it's at, but what I can tell you is it's somewhere from the water line now up to the little grassy area where the water should normally be. And the way I know it's not leaking right now is if I walk over to the other side of our road and then I come down the hill over on this side. I do believe that folks who followed the channel for a while remember that little leak. I'm going to walk through here. As of right now, guys, it is dry, but I can't tell you exactly where, but somewhere through here, you begin to see a trickle. You see a constant trickle of water coming out of our pond, coming right through that 30 or 40 mound of dirt, and it trickles right on down through here. It keeps this ground nice and moist, and it slowly puddles and then flows right on down underneath our culvert into our secondary pond, our backup pond on the other side of the property, and from there it flows on down to the river. Totally not what you want your pond to do. You want your pond to stay full as much as it can. Now, I also want to add that the reason our pond is so low now is not just because of the leak. We've also had, well, it's that time of year. And during this time of year with the heat, you have a lot of evaporation. And so with all the evaporation plus that leak, our pond is super low. But hopefully after today, we'll get this taken care of. And we were just so very blessed for this fella to come out and do this for us. You know what we did not realize? We were actually told by many of you that if we would turn off the fountain by day, during the heat of the day, you could conserve a whole lot more water from lack of evaporation. Who would have thunk it? I had no idea that turning the fountain off by day, turning it on at night, it would still provide the aeration that we want, still keep the water cooler, but it would eliminate a whole lot of the evaporation. And so we are learning as we go along. And so I did not ask Mr. Jeff or Mr. Cody what their plan is as far as where they're going to start distributing, but I can't guarantee you that that leak is right here. I don't know where it starts. So I'm kind of hoping that they'll start maybe around our electric pole. That's the pole we have over here where we have our fountain set up to, our electricity run. We also have a pipe there that runs underground that helps fill up our pond from the well house. But I'm hoping they'll go from about that area and they'll circle around all the way to maybe over through here somewhere, because I can't really picture the pond having the leak over there and working itself all the way through. Same as that way. I can't picture the pond leaking from that way and going all the way around. I believe it would show itself somewhere else first. So it must come from right through here, I'm guessing. I am just amazed at the number of fish in this darn thing. And you know, it's not just fish. We have all kinds of critters who live in this pond. I love that. But it's also quite scary when you see some of the things that crawl out of here. I think you all saw the darn freshwater lobster that came out recently. Jamie had a video of that. So it looks like the fellows are making themselves a plan. And what I remember about the stuff that we bought, if you remember, Jamie and I bought a 5-gallon bucket of this stuff. It may not be the exact same agent that he's using, but we bought a 5-gallon bucket and it was slimy. It came out in a granule or some kind of a powder, but once it got wet, it got slimy. And I mean, it was slicker than snot, if you don't mind the expression. So I don't know for a fact if it's going to do the exact same thing here. But once it gets wet, boy, it can sure... Look at the size of that little perch or catfish, whatever that is. All right, so what happens over here, this is the tough part, is that this is the size hopper that you buy for this. Now, they do make larger hoppers for really, really big jobs, but for a job like ours, the small hopper is the ideal one to use. The problem is getting the agent or the granule into the hopper has to be shoveled. So they're going to open the bag, fill up his bucket here with as much as he can, and then have to shovel from the bucket into the hopper, and that's when they'll start the process. So if they had a much larger hopper, they could do it a lot faster, but with this smaller sized hopper, that's the only way to make this work. So this is how the agent looks. The, I guess, chemical. Trixie, get out of there. Get out of there. She's already gotten herself wet, and then she walked into this. You're gonna get all slippery, and you're not gonna come in the house if you're all nasty, okay? So, whoops, Trixie. I'll tell you what, I would not want to be the guy on the front of that machine. Now, of course, he has a mask on, and he's the one having to fill the hopper, but I'll tell you what, he's getting coated down with this stuff as well. And then I'm going to show you real fast how it looks. I'm going to try to get close enough without getting all up in it. But you can see how heavily coated it is right here along the bank, and then look down into the water where it's already beginning to react. That's really neat. And then like the fellow said, if we could wet it down with the sprinkler, go ahead and let it start reacting, that would be wonderful. But we are expecting a little bit of rain coming up later this week, so I don't know what Jamie's plans are as far as that goes. Let me get out of his way. Well, friends, I want to thank those fellows for coming out and doing what they did for us, donating all of those materials, their time, the labor, and they also took their skid steer and spread out all that dirt that I had dumped. That was just them being super kind. You guys do me a favor, and before you leave, go give them a positive Google review. Let them know how much you appreciate them and what they've done for Lester and Jamie over here at Longhorn Lester's. We would appreciate that, and that could certainly help their small business grow. As far as the pond goes, hush it up! I'm working. I'm sorry, I cannot focus with them darn roosters. Anyway, this looks amazing. This stuff will begin to expand, work itself down into every crack and crevice. And let's hope, that, guys, that with time, we will have our pond back to as deep and as beautiful as it... Thank y'all for watching. We love you. We're blessed to have you. And we will catch you guys on the next video.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Lester.
Yeah, something like that.